Really looking forward to playing another game. Anybody that knows me knows that I hate losing more than I love winning. So it's been a lot of restless nights since our last outing. But like I said, took a lot from it. Have been able to have some great film sessions, and I think we'll be better for it moving forward. Temple, solid team coming in. We played them last year, but they're not the same team. They have a lot of new pieces as well. I know that Coach Rich will have them fired up and ready to go. And we expect a really good game, and we're going to try to do our best to come out with a victory before heading to the Bahamas.
Coach, just in general, what you thought of the reaction from your players to the loss?
Uh, I think I had more of the reaction. So I don't know that I gave him a chance to react. I was pretty aggressive with, my thoughts and opinions and feelings for the game. And I think, we got a lot of criticism for giving up 80 points, and I respect that because my program is known to defend. But I have new pieces, and they're learning, and so it's not going to look Stanfordish, Gonzaga-ish, even SEC-ish right now. It's going to take a while, but we will get there because for me, I do know that that's who we're going to be. That's what our program is going to be on, and that's what I'm going to demand.
I guess on the micro level for you, whether it's just day to day, what does building that defensive structure look like? What's that process?
Yeah, great question. Usually it takes a year. You usually see the true connectivity, hopefully by February. But in the meantime, there are vitamins, there are things that we have to do defensively that it's not ingrained in our players yet. And it affects the ones that do know because that's where the connectivity is missing because, it may be two people that are playing our defense and then three that aren't. We just have so many new pieces. And so what we've really worked on the last 2 days is focusing on getting back to the basics of our defense. I think we had a little false confidence about how good defensively we were, especially with our first outing. And then we just ran into a high-powered team, which was intentional in scheduling, and I needed that to happen so that we could be exposed. And now I have them right where I want them as far as their attention, knowing what it is that they need to do to get stops.
Coach, Temple, what do they bring in tomorrow night that you have to go up against?
Yeah, Temple is super aggressive. They're gonna pick us up. They're 94 feet. They're gonna in the half court. They're gonna be in the passing lanes. They're athletic as well, so we're gonna have to keep them off the glass. And they play just with a lot of energy and a lot of passion. And last year, when we went down there, we expected a fight. And now we expect a fight again. And that's a testament to their coach. She just does a really good job. She's in year 2, and they're figuring some things out too. And I think the team that I guess matches their identity the most tomorrow will come out on top.
I guess kind of to that end, I mean, what do you want to see tomorrow to be happy with the showing that you get?
Where do I start? No. We're still trying to figure things out. Like, I couldn't even tell you who I'm starting tomorrow. And for a coach, that's unsettling because, but I have to get used to it because this is the portal world now, so you don't get to just, build them up and then they're ready. Like, you kind of have to just figure it out as you go. And so for me, I need to see my team really be intentional about getting stops. I saw our offense dictate our defense. And I can tell you this, last year, I don't know that we scored 70 points. Shoot, we didn't score 70 points a lot of times, right? And we shot awful and we still scored 70. But so I know we have better talent on the offensive end. But I'm looking to see who's serious about our defensive identity because those are the people that I'm going to trust. We won a game last year off of a block. Like we've won some big games defensively. And so for me, that's what I'm going to be looking for. The shot, if it goes in or not, the layup, that kind of stuff, we can work through. But who's going to really say, what five is going to be incredibly connected out there to say, collectively, we want to get a stop? That's what I'm going to be looking for.
Do you have to coach? You touched on it a little bit there with, you can't build them up anymore.
That's right.
Do you have to coach differently? I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do. You have to accept the new pieces and what they bring and, understanding that it's a process. And I just think every year, and that was a sober reminder, you cannot skip steps, So why would we think that 8 new people will be able to play our defense in the second game of the season at a high level, right? When I scheduled a game, I knew that there was a chance to be exposed. I just hate it. But I know that it's possible. You know what I mean? Like, I just hate losing, but I know that it's good for us. I know last year we got exposed by Memphis in a close scrimmage. We did not get exposed in a close scrimmage or exhibition this year. So we got to get exposed. But I did know, here's what I know. My team responded after that because I responded. I had a chance to see our players in an adverse situation. When I tell you we have been smooth sailing since Europe, we truly have. Beating teams 60, 70 points, like it's been a breeze. And so that was our first true test and true challenge. And as a coach, I was anxious for that. As much as I did not like the outcome, I was excited about, okay, this is who I have. Now let me make my adjustments. Let me point these things out. Let me make sure the team 49 is focused on this. And so, like I said, I'm grateful for it, but I just hate it.
Coach, going off of that, how's that prepare a team moving forward to face that adversity again?
Yeah.
Especially after the non-con going into conference play.
Oh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. All these games are going to be huge. Temple's going to be huge. The Bahamas is going to be huge. Oklahoma was huge. And it's huge because we can't hide anymore. People respect us to the point where they had us 12th at one point, but they quickly dropped us, right? 11 spots. But there's an expectation now. There's a standard, and that is what, when you build a program, that is what you expect. And so we have to go through these things now in order to get ultimately where we want to go. And I get that. You get what I'm saying? I know sometimes maybe, and it seems like our fans get it. Usually after a loss, they would be like, they would really go at me. And, they were great. Like, they just understand now. Like they're like, Coach, we know what you're doing, and I know a lot of people duck smoke and don't want to play those top teams early, but how are you going to find out about our team? Let's look at our football team. Like, we lost a game early. Now look at us, and so hopefully we finish out 10-2, you have to be exposed if your goals are to accomplish something great. If you want to be safe, then you play cupcakes the whole non-con and you hope for the best. All right? But I don't want my first Team 49's first time getting punched in the SEC. So that is why we scheduled the way, we got the Bahamas trip, we got Temple, Louisville's coming in. We don't get to hide. We're going to have to compete and figure things out. And that is what you all are going to see. And sometimes that's going to be a win, and sometimes that's going to be a loss. But if we get to where we're trying to go at the end, then I feel good. If we don't, then forget I said all of this.
Any other questions for Coach? Great, thanks everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.